Hello, Mackie here, and we like to welcome, or actually, I like to welcome you, the small audience of 30 subscribers, and to the thousands and thousands at home, to my brand new series, which is going to be fully dedicated to the mid-season invitational. It is called, and I hope many people will probably not copyright this, MSI Madness. That, my friends, is a perfect name. Nobody can figure it out about it, and nobody can claim it. It is minds and minds alone. So, what does Midseason Madness means, or MSI Madness? Well, this entire MSI run, or this entire MSI tournament, will be dedicated, towards MSI, my thoughts, my videos, my rankings, all the reviews, and all kinds of stuff. And for this entire thing, I will probably talk about like the matches, the shorts, and all this kind of stuff. So it's basically like, this entire series is like the mid-season invitation and watch stuff and whatnot such. So if this is your kind of thing, please like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff so I can just post more content to all of you. And make sure that we can hit 40 subscribers by the end of the year. We have reached the one goal. Now we can have to like set another goal. Like the grind is not over. Let's keep going. C'est la vie. Anyways, before we get to all the MSI stuff with the brand new tagline of Ignite the Fire Within, and the format explainers, and the merge, and the pick'ems, and all the kind of stuff, we have to hand out some awards. Now, I haven't done that in my last video on the road to MSI, which is like, the ending of everything else, the ending of the whole split. I should have done that. I kind of misplaced it. I said goodbye without even leaving some other parting gifts, so that was on me. But since we're all here, it is time for us to give us some awards. Now, these awards are my opinion awards. These are awards that come from my own opinion based on the matches I've seen, the some sane league community, all this kind of thing. So these are my opinions only. You can just try to take them with a grain of salt. You might agree with them, you might not disagree with them. I see you T1 fans. But these are my opinion awards. Okay, these are my opinion, some of the best things that have happened in the League of Legends space throughout the entire split. And those things will be important come MSI. So with that being said, it's time for handing out some awards. So we're gonna do this per split, by the way, and including some broadcasts and everything else. So this is the series of the split. In my opinion, what is the best split of League of Legends you'll have to find? Now, the rules of this split is pretty much easy. It has to be a 5-game series. It has to be a playoff game. So I know regular season, best of 3 regular seasons are cool, but as we see in the MSI tournament, best of 5s are like the best thing to ever happen, or probably is the best thing to ever happen in League in like a long time. And the hype, the atmosphere, the momentum, the clutchness of these games is so much important than just like a regular season game. So if your incredible best of 3 matches are good, then it doesn't count. Look, like, Koi and Koi KC matchup in a regular season, that's cool and all, but it's never going to be touched like a best of 5 on the line hype matchup that will get hundreds and hundreds of viewerships and brilliant gameplay. Some missed gameplay, of course, but those are just like top of the list and probably the reasons why this award exists. So for my series of the split, I put Talon versus CTBC Flying Oyster in the mid-season upper bracket final. I was thinking of like the CTBC matchup versus GAM in that finals, of course. But I believe, of course, this game has some implication because 1 is for MSI spot, and 2, as we can see later from the upsets of the split, everybody had Talon winning this whole thing. Everybody had Talon going to Worlds. Nobody, and I know some CTBC fans are watching this, nobody was giving CTBC a chance. Yes, they made it the first stand. Yes, they have some good performances, but when the season began, yes, they were really good, but Many people have like Talon, or maybe some people have Talon. A lot have CTBC Flying Noise because of what they've done, but many people have Talon with it. And it was a decently good series, back and forth 5 games. CTBC won and, went through and all the kind of stuff. So I put them as my LCP representative of the series of the split. The LTA representative of the split was FlyQuest versus C9 in recently the split 2 finals. Now, David posted a video about his frustrations with, the NA scene, with Surty leaving and Dignitas being an absolute mess, and North American getting down to these left, right, and center about format changes, the poor marketing, Riot BS, all that kind of stuff. And I posted a little comment, and I mean you not, welcome to the Manchester United of League. And I mean, isn't that true where, Man United are and where North America are once proud, incredible nation becoming now the laughing stock to the point of like, you either have to stick it out, which, listen, I'm a Man United fan. I have no choice. Or you may have to support another team. And to that I said, yeah, you might support another team and you make a success, but that would be like your loyalty kind of dies with it. And David has been and listen, David is a loyal NA fan through and through, but even he knows that it's not looking great. So for every single horrible situation that is bad, with the near airport leaving, Surty leaving, of course, Jojo PN becoming successful, of course, in LEC, it makes you want to feel like, does Riot even care about North America? Or does Riot even care about Americas at all? To the point of like, does David have to like go to another region? He can't. He's a born American, of course. He's wearing his American heart in his sleeves. I don't think he can do that. But I feel for him, man. I feel for him. The same way I'm feeling some American fans who kind of not watching this, but I also like, I sympathize with them. That poor mismanagement and all this kind of stuff have led you to where you are right now. And it's series like FlyQuest versus C9 that really makes you want to feel like, gosh, it hurts that this region has been a beaten stick, but series like these is just keep me dragging for more, to the point of like, I want more of these. And FlyQuest C9 was absolute cinema, from free cast in his first game to Captain Flowers doing this thing to the incredible play by Quid with the Talia ult to Blabber's misplay to an incredible 5-game series to the incredible backdoor finish by Quad and Whippo to the bug that nearly cost them the game. It was everything you wanted in a series and more, from probably the 2 best teams in all of LTA North. And it sucks that only one of them gets to go to MSI. And that's what makes this whole thing so frustrating. It was such a great series, and it sucks that only like one team can go to the whole finals. So I have them at the very last minute. It was probably the last match before MSI, which is so incredible that the last series before MSI was this matchup, and it actually won the LTA, best series of the split. So props to them. And sadly, your region is dying because of the mismanagement. It's not your fault, but it is what it is. All right, there's some disturbance in the house. Let's move on to the LEC and their series of the split. Koi versus KC from the spring upper bracket final was easily the series of the split for the LEC. And I would go for like both of these matches, with the KC versus Corp first round matchup as a really hype matchup. But let me just set the scene, of course. This is not just KC versus Koi. This is France versus Spain, with all the nationalism that comes with it, with all the chaos, with all the hype, and with a MSI spot on a line. And the fact that every single person wanted to see Karmine Corp versus G2 in the finals. Although, the bracket's different at the time. G2, destroy the everlasting out of... No, it was Koi. Actually, yeah, it was Koi. It was Koi to be the absolute crap out of Koi in the opening round. And the winner of this game between Koi and KC will make it to the finals. And it was so hype. Fans were incredible. The matches were kind of good. There was some stumpiness, of course, in some of the matches, but The atmosphere was cool. The games were kind of cool, and to see Koi won that match over KC, who by the way were kind of like pseudo favorites, of course, because of course they won the LEC split in winter, and everybody's and the way they made it to finals. Although you can say the Mickey Mouse first stand tournament is crap right now, which we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But the fact that KC having all that momentum is for Koi to beat them not once but twice. They beat them twice in both 5 game series. Now, while I was watching the incredibleness of Alcaraz versus Sinner in the French Open final, my mind must be thinking to myself, G2 should totally win that split. I know G2 are not like the same dominant team. They have a poor spring split. They have their BS in the bracket. They are a better team, and everybody's supposed to sing that G2 won. And then, to the surprise of many, Twitter lit me up and said that Koi won. Like, what? And I watched the series, and Koi just won the whole thing. Which makes, I feel like, yeah, yes, like, Koi beating KC twice was my upset of the split. But I can make an argument that Koi beats G2 was my upset of the split because, yeah, G2 are not the same team, the same dominant team that they were last year with the names and everybody else, but it's still G2. It's still Caps. Actually, you know what? You know what? I'm going to make an executive decision. There you go. There you go. See? Now we make it. Now the decision is made. So I put that as like double upset. So, but for the split of the series, I think this is a pretty honest conversation. Koi versus KC. It's now officially a rivalry. Both teams have rivalries each. Both are from nationalism, and both are not successful teams. In an era in which G2 and you can say Fnatic in some cases have become the top of the class, Koi and KC are kind of like in the conversation right now. They're now in the conversation. If Koi can do well in MSI, then maybe we can just say, ooh, this might be a rivalry, of course. This might be a heavy rivalry. BLG versus AL in the split 2 upper bracket final. I think this is a pretty good series of overall. Of course, nobody, and let's be honest, the way AL have been playing from last split, but nobody has like AL being like a champion of LPL. They may be a third or fourth best team with TL and BLG in it, but in a 5 game series, they straight up beating BLG. And then in the finals, of course, the grand finals, they beat up BLG again. And again, Tarzan was amazing. The whole team was amazing. I mean, nobody was expecting like BLG. Like, yes, BLG has gone through some rough patches in the season. Externally, not well, or internally than externally. But I said this was a pretty good series to watch because it showcases that anything can happen in the league. And the fact that Anyone's Legend beat a really decent, good BLG team, not great BLG team from the past, but a really good, decent BLG team with former coach Tabe on the AL side, cooking up some drafts, performing even well. It was an impressive series. And the fact that AL actually made the finals was impressive. So props to them. And then I go with the LCK Road to MSI round 3. And my goodness, this is where my complaint. I think a lot of complaints have been made. So LCK has been a tradition of like having split finals for so many years in some decent formats, which is fine. But the LCK coming into this season must be thinking, instead of just crowning 3 champions and being like overbloating ourselves, how about we have the one entire year to crown our one entire champion? Which, Korea, I know you're kind of a love of esports and all kinds of stuff, but I don't think that's how it works in esports. I'm sorry, but GSL, and shout out to Mr. Tasteless and State, and Atosu sometimes, and RSL are kind of like the examples of like, you can have a mini tournament and have that meaning, of course. Or you can go to any esports and have that meaning and have that small tournament with a lot of meaning, of course. It's the same thing with like the LCK, with all their splits, of course. Like spring split last year means so much. In fact, last year you can say that the match of the year was Gen.G versus T1 in an incredible spring split finals, and it was incredible. And yeah, both of these teams will go to MSI, but it was such a fantastic match, and it has some meaning to it. You know what happened in the road to MSI? There was no finals. There was absolutely no finals, and it makes the and it's the same thing with the LTA one. It makes the Gen G Honda Life Esports as credible as that series is, as incredible that reverse sweep is. It makes you it gives you a lot of blue balls, of course. Now, and of course, the worst case scenario is that let me just break down the whole series. Honda Life Esports were bodying them early on, and then Gen G through Canyon and through Chovy's incredible play, and mostly Chovy, because I think right now Chovy is probably like the best player in all of Korea, and probably all in the world right now. Akimi doesn't want a world title. Well, he won an MSI title. That's legit, so shut up. But the point is that this was a Chovy series. The mental fortitude to come back from this series, consider they were 2-0 down, consider that it was Honda Life Esports, consider Honda Life Esports has won so many game 5s all the time. When that series was 2-2, I was thinking to myself, okay, Honda Life Esports should win it. But you can ride that Honda Life Esports 5-game series magic BS all you want until it ran out, and it kind of ran out. And you're thinking to yourself, Hakeem, okay, Honda Life Esports lost in an incredible series against Gen G, and they choked a la Tyrese Halliburton, Reggie Miller a couple of years ago. They should beat T1. Now, the sad part about it is that I put T1 and Honda Life Esports as my upset of the split. But sadly, T1 fandom, they always said that we're always the favorite against Honda Life Esports. But I think Doran mentioned this on the Summon and Insight, that even T1 fans know that I don't think they can beat Honda Life Esports. And consider the circumstances that T1 had. You have the whole Gumiuchi Spanish situation that makes the coaching look absolutely weak and make Joe March look like a douchebag. You have the whole Zeus versus Doran argument, in which Zeus is now a better top laner than Doran, even though Doran has been like a decent player, Zeus has been incredible. And the fact that Honda Life Esports won first stand, which makes them automatically favorites to make it to MSI, along with Gen G, who, by the way, went undefeated. All of this were in favor of T1. All of this was favored against T1. All of these situations were favored against T1. So, there was an argument that I was thinking, okay, T1 might win some couple of games, maybe do some things, but I say Honda Life Esports will win. And let's just say T1 will drop the game, but say Honda Life Esports win. And then Honda Life Esports would be 3-0. So I was like, Honda Life 3-0, or T1 won a game and then Honda Life wins, or Honda Life wins, T1 wins a fluky game, or Honda Life Esports kind of have a close series, but then Honda Life in traditional game 5, won over T1 and wipe our hands clean. Gen G, Honda Life Esports, 2 best teams to go to MSI, nothing wrong. Except, guess what happens in that match? That's right, guys. Honda Life Esports lost 3-0 to T1. That's now Doran was incredible. Don't get me wrong. Doran was incredible in that matchup over Zeus. Don't get me wrong. He was impressive. But for Honda Life Esports to lose that series, they felt tilted after that series. I was thinking to myself, okay, listen, you got swept. You got reverse swept. It hurts so much, but at the same time, you should recover from this. You should bounce back, and it's hard to bounce back. It's really hard to bounce back. But I can see them doing it, and then for T1 to beat Honda Life and clean sweep them and go to MSI was so painful. And to make it even more blue balls is that we have no finals. There's no finals. No finals at all to determine who was 1 and 2 seed. We're going to just send Gen G and T1 to Worlds or MSI. I just don't get it. And consider that Gen G kind of struggles against Honda Life Esports, you can make an argument that T1 should have won against Gen G. I guess we never know until we get to MSI and they face each other. But this is the biggest absolutely slap in the face ever. And you thought the LTA format was bad. This is kind of like, if you wanted to award the region with the worst format of the split, I could just do that right now. I said the LCK was probably the worst one ever. It has a regular season, of course. And I think the regular season could just make the MSI placements already and nobody will argue. But to make a format that is absolutely worse, the fact that KT imploded, of course, did not perform well, and Perfect was kind of like falling apart. The fact that T1 beat Honda Live Esports clean as a whistle, and the fact we have an incredible series and just like kind of robbed of a rematch and a finals, easily the worst format ever. And listen, you make the LTA split two format look like absolute child's play to this. My goodness. Of course, T1 over Honda Live Esports, to the eyes of some, purists, is my upset of the year. But for T1 fans, it's like, T1 have been good all along! Yes, thank you, yes! Like, come on, people. Just get to the hospital. Just get to the inside of the hospital. Please, you're just mentally cracked. I'm done with you guys. I'm freaking done with you guys. Team WE for top esports, my ups is the LPL's upset of the year. Who has Team WE as a top 4 team? Not me. Trust me. Hands to God, not me. Top esports, you can say all you want about their international shortcomings sometimes, but they were dominant in the LPL. So to see them lose to Top East, so to see Team WE, who has been pretty much mediocre for the last couple of years, who haven't been top 4 in any material since 2021, and to beat Top Esports and JDG. Like, come on, what is this Fugazi stuff? And it would have been more comical if they beat IG, but they didn't. But my God, this pretty much justifies Top Esports being like the carpet mat of League of Legends by a country mile. They just let the team that nobody was expected to do well actually let them do well. And it sucks. And it sucks for some of the players. Yeah, I'm calling on you, Jackie Knight. You suck. Hurts, but it's true. CTBC flying over Retellan, we already covered that. That's my up to the split. I already covered the LEC part, but the LTA part is Shopify versus 100 Thieves. And that hurts because Shopify beat 100 Thieves once in the placement stage. And now I was like, okay, it's a big fluky upset. They should get them in the best of 5, right? And they lost. They lost to Shopify. Palafox and those boys beat 100 Thieves. And they made it top 3, which is fine, but it's more like 100 Thieves and Team Liquid looking absolutely bad than like Shopify winning. And listen, I'm not gonna like discredit the wins. The wins are the wins. You take them as they come against who you have. It doesn't matter the opponent. You take the wins as you come. But I'm just giving you context of like, I don't think Shopify's wins are kind of like big over like, Cloud9s and your FlyQuest of the world. I think they've beaten the teams that are dysfunctional, and I think they beat the teams that are in front of them. I'm not going to discredit the win, but they're just saying the context is being needed. Furia over Pain is the upset of the LTA South. Now everybody has Pain winning because they've been to an international event last couple of months ago in Worlds. They had the players to do it, but for Furia to overcome them with players that, let's be brutally honest, and I have no knowledge about this, have no name value, of course, in the region. Of course, this is the fault of Riot not marketing the region better, but also probably the fault of me not watching a lot of LTA South. Hurts, but it's true. But for ThinkCard, the coach of NRG once upon a time, to coach up 5 Brazilian players to make it to an international event, that is unbelievable stuff. Who would have thought? So those are my upsets of the split. Now for the player of the splits. LCP, I got no knowledge, of course. So I didn't watch any LCP, so no knowledge there. LTA for the North is going to Inspired, no knowledge in the South. I think Inspired has been the most consistent player, of course. I think he should have won the Finals MVP, but hey, I think the guy has been probably like the best LTA jungler we ever have in the last couple of years, which is saying something. Elyoya, keeping with the jungling family, being the LEC split. Now, he has been the spearhead of the Koi dominance. It's probably in playoffs, of course, especially in that finals when he just single-handedly won game 1 over G2, despite being outdrafted and losing draft in all 4 games. He has been the reason why this team has won. You can make fun of him, of course, for building the whole team with his friends, but this guy can cook. This guy can play as well as could do. He can be like an engaged jungler. He can do like all this kind of stuff. Wherever Elyoya goes, Koi goes as well. And that will be like the most interesting part as we go to MSI. Tarzan, of course, finally get the monkey off his back for finally winning a title after so many years. The best jungler that never won it. And he was incredible, especially on Zed Jungle. Of all things, he was incredible. He was an incredible performer. He's the reason why this team has won, despite the players have been also not so great, especially Fondre, who was a long time ago was a world champion 4 years ago. Like, who would have thought? Tarzan is my MVP for the split, and of course Trophy for LCK MVP because he led the team to an undefeated season. He led, of course, he was the catalyst for the comeback win for Live Esports. He was the reason why Gen G are in Worlds, and he's probably like the best top laner. Oh, sorry, the best mid laner, pretty much of all League of Legends players, which is saying something. Unless you're a Faker fan and you just wanted to say otherwise. So the best broadcasting region is the LCK. I think the LEC has been falling off completely. The LTA looked like the LCS. But listen, I told everybody, right, if you wanted to change your region, at least change the whole broadcast. Why you have to make us go to the same, broadcast we have with the lounge and everybody else? If you want, like, look at the LEC, for example. The LEC, when they have the rebrand, change up the whole entire thing and makes it look cool. And the LTA is kind of like stuck with the same thing. But that's the same thing with North America, League of Legends. It never change until, like, the shoe will drop on the other foot. The best region is the LEC. Now, broadcasting, terrible. And I know this is, listen, I'm not going to hear it call out names, but Hysterics is just, like, falling off the cliff, sadly, with Dagda. And that's not from me, guys. That's from Rich. Shout out to Rich, by the way. But in terms of, like, competitiveness, holy cow, this region is competitive. Like, for the first time in a long while, Fnatic has fallen off a cliff. G2 has been good, but it will never reach the heights of dominance. And now K-Corp and Koi becoming, like, the two big teams from two big countries with a fan base. And now this region is, like, anyone up for grabs. You can make an argument that the top four will win it. You can make an argument that any team can win it. It's a fun region to watch, and it's probably, like, a fun region to look and follow, of course. And it's also some decent good players in there. You got Skumon on your G2. You got Eloya from Koi. You got Vladdy, Super, some really good talented players all across the board. And with Na'Vi coming to League, maybe not change the dynamic, but it might change some viewership numbers, of course, for the LEC. Even though viewership numbers are not as great, I think it's way better than the LTA North. So, just saying. Speaking of LTA, my best clutch moment was the Quid 4-man Talia ult over Cloud9 in the Game 4 of the Split 2 finals. It was an incredible play. It was a clutch play. It was a huge play in the context of the series, in the context of, like, Cloud9 was, like, one game away from making it to Worlds or MSI. Kind of mix up these two, but right now I can feel like MSI is kind of like Worlds, but in steroids. But that Talia ult was really cool. And Quad, I kind of confuse the names of Quad and Quid sometimes. I think Quid is a decent mid laner. I'm not saying he's the best ever, but I think his plays and his incredible performances and his MVP performances just showcase otherwise. So that should conclude the awards portion. I know I call it the MSI Awards, but I call it the mid-season awards, for a reason. So those are the awards for the mid-season, of course. And if you want any disagreements, please leave down in the comments below. And feel free to comment and do everything, even if I'm not here. Now, Akeem, the awards are finished. The road is already completed. And now we are here at the virtual destination of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Home of the best hockey nation you ever seen, and becoming America's dog for the last 31 years in Stanley Cups, of course. Sadly, but it's true. And this beautiful, beautiful nation is going to witness some incredible League of Legends, some incredible League of Legends, some incredible stuff for the next couple of weeks. Now, I can go on and speaking about the format and all kind of stuff, but I've realized, Akeem, they posted a video. You can just say it can save you like 5 minutes of all the talking and just move on and all kind of stuff. So we got the primer right here. Yep, we got the primer right here, and you got all the information and all kind of stuff with everything, of course. And of course, there's a little bit of video. Now, of course, we'll talk about all the scheduling and all kind of stuff. But we have a little video to talk about the format explainer and all kind of stuff. So, we're going to play this. We're going to go on with it, and let's get it on.
They'll pop in to Camille plus Shockwave Weave and Dream.
Oh wait, hold up. I have to like turn up the quality just a little bit. I mean, so for such for such a huge thing, you mean the quality has to go up. Okay, there you go. There you go. Now continue.
Dreaming of
MSI returns this year in Vancouver, Canada.
Ooh, and by the way, for anybody who don't know, that is Azil, who, by the way, born Canadian, by the way, former World of Warcraft player, and of course, he's a caster. And he's fine. He's not, like, highly great, like Freak and everybody else, but he's fine-ish, I guess. I know some of the community doesn't like him, but he's fine. Not great, but fine. But let the Canadian-born Azil can talk you through the MSI format. Take it away, my Canadian boy.
The few format updates aimed at keeping the excitement high. This year, 10 teams will compete for the title, battling through an exclusively best-of-5 format with full Fearless draft in every match.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, every game, including play-ins, is full Fearless draft, but every single game is best of 5. Like I said, guys, this is Worlds on steroids. I mean, Worlds will never say that, look at MSI with their best of 5 full Fearless draft. We will never do that. We have the best tournament in the world. Oh, you petty people. MSI is now becoming like the best tournament in the world. And of course, in my later few TikToks, which I'm going to explain about 2022 one, which is going to be egregious itself, it led to some fan hatred and all kind of stuff. Maybe it's the format's fault or the bugs or the whole thing, but I feel like 2022 was like the last straw in terms of like best of 1 formats is not working, the whole system is not working, and people have been begging for best, double elimination since IPL 5 for years. And every single region have like double elimination format and not like the big international tournaments. So from 2023 until now, we have like double elimination best of 5 tournaments, and it makes MSI look cool. I can name you some of the matches from MSI that were cool. The 2 BLG Gen G matches from last year. JDG versus T1 was cool. We got the entire JDG versus BLG rivalry full display in the finals, of course. But it makes the MSI look cool, and it makes like all the matches look cool, and it like establish who's the better team throughout all of this. So it makes it look cool, and the fact you can only do it in one stadium saves a lot of time, a lot of cost, a lot of stuff, and the fact that it's now full Fearless, it makes diversity and all kind of cool. So mazel tov to Riot, even though I given you a lot of shtick, and rightfully so, changing the format to best of 5 and to make it double elimination is the best thing to ever happen to Riot in like years, which is saying something. Let's continue.
Who will find the strength from within to overcome every challenge and take home victory? Those who best take advantage of MSI 2025's updated format will be the ones to rise to the top. Let's dive in and see what they're up against. 10 teams in total will be sent to Vancouver, with the top 2 seeds from the LEC, LCP, LPL, LCK, as well as the top seed from the LTA North and LTA South competing. The play-in stage will feature the 2nd seed from LEC, LCP, LPL, and the representative from the LTA South. These 4 teams will face off in a best-of-5 double elimination bracket, with seeding defined by regional standings coming out of First Stand 2025.
And that's why the Mickey Mouse tournament is so important, because of course the teams that their regions that finish it off, of course, will be seeded. And here's where the Mickey Mouse tournament really lost its shine. Here are all the teams that are qualified for MSI. Do you notice any difference? Because except let me just do this. Except this team, CTBC Flying Oyster, none of the teams that have qualified from First Stand ever make it to MSI. Like none of them. Like no Honor Life, no Team Liquid, no Top Esports, nothing. Like nothing. They're all gone, except CTBC Flying Oyster is the only regional representative from the First Stand to ever qualify. And that makes the First Stand tournament even more egregious, to say the least. So Do I believe that first stand needs to change their format next year? Hell yeah, I do. I mean, it's their first tournament, so why not? But it makes it makes the first stand look really, really, really bad. It does, help with the whole drawing and all kind of stuff, and it's cool and all, but it just makes it look real bad. Okay, continue. Okay, continue with the video. Let me just move effect. Yeah, and continue with the video. It's gonna get going. Okay.
The two teams that reach 2 wins will move on to the bracket stage, alongside the first seed of each region and the second seed of the LCK, which receives a bye to the bracket stage since HLE won first stand, representing the LCK. In the bracket stage, the now 8 qualifying teams will play another best-of-5 double elimination bracket, with matchups determined by a drawing. Teams will be split into 4 tiers, with those tiers spread out across the bracket. Tier 1 will face off against Tier 4, and Tier 2 will compete against Tier 3. Just like last year, teams from the same region will not be drawn into the same side of the bracket. And to the victor go the spoils. Just like last year, the winning team will secure an automatic spot at Worlds 2025, adding a slot to its region's count, while the second place region, after the winning team's region, earns an additional slot at Worlds as well. That's everything you need to know about MSI 2025. Tune in from June 27th through July 12th to watch these competitors ignite the fire within on lollysports.com. Make sure you also log in to collect drops and be eligible for watch awards in your region. We'll see you all in Vancouver.
And there you go. Thank you, Azil, for that little bit of video. Now, of course, all the things that he said is pretty much true. You know, your qualified teams, your brackets, but the most important thing, of course, is the time, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that time, ladies and gentlemen. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And, of course, I'm living in the East Coast. So, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all the matches, which is mean like 8 p.m., because of daylight savings and all that kind of stuff. 8 p.m. for me, which is like, God bless, because let's look at the sports landscape right now. NBA Finals is probably finished soon. NHL is finished. Baseball is into its slog regular season. And the Premier League and all the other football leagues, except the bougie Club World Cup BS, is still going on. So in terms of like major sports stuff or esports stuff, it's just nothing. Like EMEA Masters is almost finished. And Los Ratotones is making to another finals. God help us all. This is probably the biggest thing. This is like the biggest thing ever. And to do it in prime time. In prime time. And to stick it to the Americans, they are going to have League of Legends on the 4th of July. And probably none on like Canadian Day, of course, which is their holiday, of course. But to have all the matches on prime time, it's really, really cool to see. It sucks for like the Asians and all kinds of stuff, but for us, Eastern audience, and I know, of course, because the tournament is in Vancouver, but for us Eastern audiences, it's like, Mazel tov. This is beautiful. Now, of course, we already got the video and all kinds of stuff, blah, blah, blah. We got the tagline, which is Ignite the Fire Within. Of course, this is officially my wallpaper, of course, that I put in. Let me just see, check it out. Just deck that wallpaper, and specifically for MSI, which is cool. You got the Way thing, which listen, I already beaten to a dead horse, but the Way thing is gonna be really huge. And there'll be lots of money with the Spirit Blossom Way thing, and it's really cool. You got Zed, who's also pretty cool, and Morgana. Yes, Morgana is part of the promotional package. Who would have thought that? Not me. So, that's the whole killer caboodle, of course. Now, for the draw that is being explained. Now, this is all kind of confusing. This whole thing is kind of confusing. This whole little thing. But let's just play devil's advocate. Let's just play the simplest devil's advocate, of course. If, your G2s and your BLGs are qualified, this scenario, if you get scenario 3, which is like LEC versus LPL2C, the both highly expected teams qualified, let's just say that when we got LCK number 1 versus LEC number 2, and LPL number 1 versus LTA number 1, LCP number 1 versus LCK number 2, and LEC number 1 versus LPL number 2. So if I were to do like a bracket, if I go to do like a simulated bracket, like I'm going to do that. So if we're going to do this based on simulated bracket, based on the draw and everything like that. If we can do this based on scenario 3 drawing, so the matches would be Genji, and this is a hypothetical, of course. This is hypothetical, but let's just say the most obvious, of course. Genji would take on Koi, which is gonna be a painful matchup, of course. Anyone's Legend will take on FlyQuest. That'll be a spicy match. And then on the other side, you got CTBC versus T1, and you got and then you got Koi. Oh wait a minute. Actually, G2 will face off Genji. Yeah, G2 will take on Genji. Ooh, that'll be a painful one if you're G2. And then your Koi versus BLG. So that will be scenario three matches. So that will be scenario 3 matches. If LEC and LPL number 2 win out. So that will be scenario number 3. Pretty much simple, nothing too complicated. But let's just make it even more complicated. What if you can say, like, let's say the LTA and LCP 2 season 1? Crazy scenario, I know, but crazy is something that is cool. But let's just say they win out. Let's just say if the LTA and LCP number 2 win out. Let's just say, for argument's sake, they win out. They will not win it, but let's just say. So let's just go with Genji versus GAM. You got LPL, which is like Anyone's Legend versus FlyQuest. You got LCP LCP, which is CTBC versus T1, and finally Koi versus Furia. Okay, so that's the chaos option. There's also 2 scenarios and there's only 2 scenarios where draws have to take place, of course. Scenario 1 and scenario 2, which draws will make. But those are kind of like examples of what you're gonna get. The obvious matches, and the chaos, of course, if that happens. There are 6 scenarios, of course, in which it plays out. I'll give you the obvious one, and I'll give you the chaos one. So that's pretty much simple, and that means there'll be like little to no draw involvements being involved, which is kind of cool. Like, save a lot of time and a little energy for some of the people, and we don't have to like sleep induce with all the ball drawing, of course. So the format kind of like plays itself out. We can just have the matches, and that's it. Little drawing involved, but the matches will take care of itself. That's pretty much cool to see. And now I think we're done here. I think it's just the form. I mean, the formats is already taken care of, the placements and all kind of stuff. Those kind of stuff. Oh yeah, that's pretty much cool. Of course, the emotes already mentioned. We got the Jack's hockey thing. You got Spirit Blossom set drinking. You got Cassiopeia squeezing the living out of Teemo. Ash being defiant. Kindred with his wolf friend. Aurora being a little bit scientific. And they got, Milo with his little friend. So those are the emotes jobs that you're going to take by watching the games and all kinds of stuff. Now, this year's MSI drop will line up with 5 new brand new emotes with all the Spirit Blossoms. But 2025 esports capsules are also on the line. These will drop live whenever we witness a Pentakill, Baron Steel, Dragon Steel, Atacon Steel, or the legendary Silver Scrapes moment when the best of 5 series go the distance. And consider the absolute chaos of this tournament and the diversity of all these teams, we're going to get Silver Scrapes. Now, I know betting is not some kind of thing that we could do, and it's kind of illegal in some cases. But I'm going to do a random bet. So, throughout all of MSI, I'm going to go over under 5 Silver Scrapes. So, I'm going to go 5 game 5s in the MSI. Over under 5 games, and I will go with the over. I'll go over 5 games for MSI. So, let me just do my proclamation right now. So I'll do my proclamation right now. Over 5 silver scrapes in MSI. All right, that's my self-proclamation, guys. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? How many best of fives we'll get in this tournament? Maybe it'll be 5, maybe it'll be less. Let me know. Coinbase, of course, is sponsoring, of course, the crypto.com, the crypto company, is dropping Hextech checks and keys and offering sweepstakes to 2 tickets to 2025 China. Interesting. Secret Lab is releasing an exclusive chair discount, which is going to be cool. They always have their cool chairs. So the opening day is I Didn't Start the Fire. Fire is going to drop on day 1 in MSI. Casual Flex emote with his Ash. And then you got Always Hip emote with Aurora, with the Aurora hat game. Onward with the Spirit Blossom Kindred, of course, in the Never Ending Story, which is like, in case you haven't noticed, everybody loved the movie, of course, with the sad horse being drowned in the pool. So this is kind of like Never Ending Story kind of thing. Kind of nostalgic, kind of cool. Like the reference. The power play when it's in game time in Vancouver, of course, with the Jax emote, because Vancouver, Canadian town, home of the Canucks, by the way. Really cool. And then all warm up with the Cassiopeia and Teemo and a bind, of course. And then Fed with the emote with the Spirit Blossom, of course, which is a feast in every lane. So you can go. So in order to get these awards, you have to go on lolesports.com and write in with the Riot ID, which I did. So I'll be probably watching some of the matches there. And of course, for your Twitch subscribers, you get some emotes and some badges, of course, for some subscribers, with some ad-free viewing, some interrupted broadcast. Just fun. Channel points, subscriber-only channel, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I can watch it on Twitch, but I'm probably going to try here. And then you got additional benefits for paid and give to subs. So not like this emote, and the event chat badge would be cool. And then Pick'ems. This will be fun, of course. So Pick'ems is a staple of Worlds. It's now going to come to MSI. It's going to get the Worlds treatment. And I said it again, it's Worlds on steroids. Now, the MSI, of course, play-ins, I was supposed to do like every single matchup. And I will preview every single matchup when the time comes. But for the MSI tournament, you have to place all the teams to predict who will go out. First place 2-0, 2-1, 1-2, and 2-0, 0-2. It's pretty much simple, but I'm going to go with layman's term. I'm going to go I'm not going to do like the Pick'ems yet, but those are the things you got to do. Maybe some people will do it obvious and like G2, BLG will go through, but you got to pick which one is 2-0. That'll be the tricky part. And if you earn points in advance, if you get your placement right, cool. You'll get your awards, of course. And the first matchup will not be until June 27th, which is 8 days away from now. And in the bracket stage, you have to make all the picks for the finals. Every winners and losers up to the finals. Those picks deadlines will be on July 1st. So I will use the Pick'ems as probably my way to previewing all the matches, of course. And then the Pick'em Awards will be so beautiful. To some, of course, it will be beautiful. Some, but to most people, it will be beautiful because the Moon or Nas selling emote. There it is. Little wrestling reference, of course, WWE fans. You got your one play esports capsule for the playoffs. B tier will get one capsule plus a Temu My Special Gift emote and participation awards. There it is. For your A tier, your top 25%, your kind of tier, you got your capsule and Yee's shady emote and everything for B tier participation. So this is Master Yi with a shady thing. Your top 2,500 finishers will receive the Spirit Blossom Hui skin, Hui champion unlock, one capsule, and all lower tier emotes. Even though I haven't played League in a long time, haven't even touched a real keyboard, this is kind of looking cool. But if you go perfect bracket, March Madness-esque perfect bracket, you get all the ultimate skins and everything including the previous tiers. That is how you flex on that. If you manage to get everything, like literally everything right, you get all the skins. You get all the ultimate skins. Like, good luck trying to get a perfect bracket. It's gonna be hard to do. I want to see Riot just like track the perfect brackets the same way like March Madness track his perfect brackets, during the tournament. I want to see like who got the perfect bracket, who like we're all rooting for that perfect bracket. Come on, team, trying to get a perfect bracket and all that stuff. I want to see Riot do like a perfect bracket tracker. Now, there'll be 1,000 brackets and it'll be hard to track them. But I want to see them doing that. I want to see them doing that. I want to see them doing that on Twitter or something. I don't know. Co-streaming is now, of course, co-streaming will be existed. Of course, it'll be sponsored by Upper GX and will attract 75 co-streamers. You know, your K-Jules of the world and all kind of stuff. And it will mean it will be an invite-only and number of communities. And of course, the qualified teams in the MSI 2025 are invited to co-stream the entire event. And the lineup will be held today. So I haven't got the lineup, of course. But I will believe it'll be like K-Jul and some other foreigners, of course. Dom will... I don't think... Maybe Dom might join. So it'll be like K-Jul, Dom, your Ebis of the world, because, of course, Spanish, big viewership. And some other Koreans, of course. Hopefully, Min Chim Chim will get some of her credit, of course. But it will be like that. And the HUD... Like I watched First Stand with the HUD, and it kind of feels like Wild Rift. It kind of has like Wild Rift feeling to it. Now, of course, they got the HUD back. Of course, Kelsey Mosley said it's kind of like she didn't like it. It was bad, but to me, I think I like it. I kind of dig with this. You got the gold. You got the gold league, of course. You got all the dragons and the situational games, of course. The Baron Group power play, the kill feed, of course, which is like supposed to be down here, but it's kind of up here, which is kind of cool. And you got the scores, of course, the lineups, your goal differential, the camera shaking, and the map state. It looks kind of dope. It's kind of dope, and I love it. And the power rankings could also come into play in the MSI. So the updates are every single match day with the model track, of course. And as the final 3 MSI matches play out, highlights will be updated with new teams with the biggest mover, biggest upset, and Ignite the Fire Within, celebrate the MSI winner or the new number 1 ranked team. So that'll be huge. But this is where the Riot BS comes from. And it's not Riot BS, but this is more like, oh my god, we're gonna get something, and like, prepare for Riot. You're thinking you're gonna get everything for free. Oh, this is Riot, for God's sakes. So the Spirit Blossom Way will be selected as the official LoL Esports revenue champion in skin. There he is, on the front and center of the MSI poster. And you can buy the skin for 13.15 RP, border sets bundle for 23.40 RP, chroma bottle for 41.10, and the individual blossom skin for 29 RP. And once the champion is crowned, we will release celebratory MSI winner accessories, including an MSI winner icon and a winner MSI Immort, continuing the tradition of honoring the tournament victors. A portion proceeds from all Spirit Blossom Way and MSI winner offers we share with LoL esports teams competing in 2025, reinforcing our commitment to supporting the competitive ecosystem, I guess. Now, from July 14 to 2022, we're giving the players a chance to grab the same skins by the winning team during the finals at a major discount. Choose from a role-specific bundles at 50% off with dynamic pricing that adjusts based on what you already own, or pick up individual skins at 33% off. Here's the right BS, of course. Ultimate, Mythic, Verit, Exalted, and Transcendent skins are not included in this promotion. If one of these is used during the finals, it will be replaced with a comparable eligible skin. There it is. Classic Riot BS at its finest. At least it's not as bad as FIFA. Come on, guys. I have to put it in there. I got to put it in there. Also the shirts. David said it best. That is a cool jersey. The hockey jersey in Vancouver, magnifique. That's a pretty cool jersey. And of course the merchandise will be on some of the, of course, regionals, all 100% made in Canada, which to say that screw you America with all your tariffs and all this kind of stuff. A little political, of course. And the tailgating. And all the tailgates will be played on July 10th to 12th, which I believe will be around the grand finals. I believe this thing will be played around the grand finals. Let me just go crazy up here. Yeah, it will be like Thursday and then lower bracket finals and then the grand finals, of course. So there'll be some really good tailgate, of course. And then you got Riftbound, of course, which is the new card game, which is really destroying all of Legends of Runeterra's hopes and dreams, of course. And then you got to play your collectible cards with demo events, of course. And let's play that game. It was really cool. I think some people like it, but for Legend of Runeterra fandom, it hurts. You got LOL Devs Meet and Greet. Incredible. That's amazing. And you got like the Spirit Blossom poster illustrated by Dave Raposa. So in case you haven't noticed, the poster that is made, this incredible poster that you're seeing on my wallpaper, is made by Dave Raposa. And if you're in the Canada area, which I can't, I have an American passport, not a Canadian passport. But if you're in a Canadian area and you want to see them and you saw this poster being cool, say hi to Dave. Not for me, but for yourself. Cosplayers. We all know, I love those cosplayers, and more than the female cosplayers, not the male one. You know what I mean? You got, and by the way, you got Yonari, who, by the way, the brand new champion, the ADC champion, of course, a brand new one. You got some other cosplayers, of course. You got the Morgana inflatable. This 20-foot tall Morgana alongside the Windbloom Arcana Spirits at the MSI from the 12 and standing 20 feet tall can be seen on Luminable, the Pacific Coliseum. This beautiful, beautiful display is going to be floatable, of course. Will be cool. And our global panels, of course, you got Omen, HyperX, Coinbase, Red Bull, Secret Labs, and you got this, let's call it the sports watching tournament. HyperX, AWS, Verizon, Oppo, Secret Lab, Opera GX, and all kinds of stuff. Those are the sponsors, of course. And tourism and Playland, and if you wanted to explore, like, other than esports, there is Playland and flyovers and 4Ds. You can also watch football matches, of course. Canada have a Gold Cup, of course, their matches, of course. And you got, like, Hollywood, of course, productions. So if you're not in for the esports thing, or you kind of like go for the esports, but you wanted to, like, spend some time watching movies or tour around Vancouver, it's a nice place to go to Destination Vancouver.com. This is not an advertisement. This is like telling you that if you wanted to go there and experience all for what Vancouver is to offer, and I think it's a lovely place. Look at that place. It is such a beautiful place to go and visit. I would love to go to that place, but only America, but it is what it is. So I believe that covers all of MSI. I think we have the teams, we got the format, we got everything I needed to know about this whole thing. It's a huge primer. The link in the description will be in the description, of course, and that should cover it. So it's a long, winded video, but consider that this is a huge event. This is a huge opportunity. It needs to be a long and winded event. It may not get a lot of views, but it has to be like this much to be this excited. And I'm so excited for it. The next video I'll be doing is me ranking the teams. 1 to 10, pretty much simple, based on narrative, gameplay, and all kinds of stuff, coaching, and everybody else. So it'll be a ranking 1 to 10, which is the best team going into MSI as my personal ranking favorite to win MSI. So that'll be for the next video. If you like and subscribe, please like and subscribe to this video as we are about to burn it up and light the fire within. So on behalf of everybody else, my name is Mackie. Have a great week, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Au revoir.